Imagine you could have a website that loads incredibly quickly, has better SEO ranking at no extra cost, and might actually reduce your server costs. Well, no need to imagine it, it's actually here, and it is called Accelerated Mobile Pages or AMP, but for this video, I'm going to call it AMP. So what is AMP or AMP anyway? Well, this is a website framework that makes your website load literally less than a second, which may increase engagement, and the best part is that you don't have to pay anything for it. There is no setup cost, there is no technology fee, and search engines like Google may propose your website when you're using AMP. So obviously for website owners, this is no-brainer. Implementing AMP seems to be logical, and yet today, nobody seems to want to use it. Even big brands are abandoning this technology for good. So what's going on here? AMP was hyped to the roof a few years ago, but today it is generally prescribed not to use it. So this is the story of rise and fall of AMP. AMP is an open source website framework developed by Google and was released back in 2015. And this is likely to be a response to Facebook instant articles. If you are using Facebook during that time, you might have encountered a news article shared on your Facebook feed. But when you click it, instead of opening a browser and then visiting the website, you stay on Facebook and are actually able to read the content. And that's basically how Facebook instant articles work. This framework is not only good for Facebook, but also for the publisher. Facebook as a company absolutely wants people to stay on the platform. The longer they stay, the more Facebook can gather data and show advertisements. And for the publishers, it offers significantly faster loading times, more audience, and a share of revenue through ads. But most importantly, since the users never actually leave Facebook, Facebook has control over the experience and can learn more about the user. Because again, the more Facebook knows about you, the more money they will make. So Google apparently likes this idea. So just a few months after Facebook Instant Articles was released, the AMP project is now open for developers and website owners to use. And the timing couldn't get any better. Around late 2015, many websites are still mostly made for desktop. That means the mobile experience is lacking. The website is not responsive, consumes a lot of resources, and is slow to open. So naturally, it is easy for Google to sell AMP as the solution to make the mobile experience better and, most importantly, faster. And by the way, being fast is not just a gimmick. There are many studies suggesting that even just an extra second of load time will make you lose millions in revenue. So naturally, businesses are trying everything to make sure their website runs as fast as possible. Google made sure that everyone uses AMP. To get the word out, they go around conferences and meetup events to deliver the wonderful message of accelerated mobile pages. I still remember that whatever web conferences I attend during that time, there is always Google preaching AMP. And not only that, to sweeten the deal, Google added a little badge on the Google search result to show that, hey, this site is using AMP, therefore it will load faster. Although Google says that AMP is not going to directly affect the SEO score, by just being faster, your site is going to be more favorable and thus rank higher. And not only that, Google literally ensures new sites that use AMP will be placed on a higher position than the ones that don't. So naturally, big companies are flocking to adopt AMP as soon as they can. I mean, why wouldn't they? If I were to run news website like CNN or Forbes and I could get more traffic by just using AMP, I would definitely ask developers in my company to make sure that there is an AMP version of every page on my website. Now, this strategy of favoring AMP over traditional mobile pages is actually working. There was a period between 2016 to early 2020 where the general reception among businesses and developers is if you don't use AMP, you are missing out. And I kinda agree with that. Every time I create a new site, it's going to have AMP. It's really like a shortcut to make the website faster without spending extra for a premium hosting or server cost. But just like any shortcut, there is going to be some unexpected consequences. The fact that AMP pages can load in less than a second is not possible without a massive compromise. Turns out there are a lot of things that are normal in a traditional web page but not possible or at least difficult to implement in AMP. Take for example a shopping cart, the thing that stores items before checking out. In a traditional website, it's pretty straightforward. People come to your website, put something into the cart, and pay for the product. It's really just a standard user experience. But in AMP, there are rules and guidelines that developers need to follow. It is not impossible to have a shopping cart in AMP pages. It is just more challenging to implement, and the result won't be as good as traditional websites. Now, I don't want to go into details, but basically you can think of it as trying to build a skyscraper with materials meant to build a house. Sure, there are some similarities, but the scale, the structure, and the technology are different. Even though Google provided some documentation of workaround to implement some basic website features in AMP pages, in reality, I have never seen any website using a shopping cart in AMP pages. And perhaps the biggest reason is, what's the point of adding a shopping cart into an AMP page if the user still has to go back to the traditional web page to process the payment? That's right, you can go to Google and then search for buy food for golden retriever, and then you visit a website using AMP technology. You can add one item into the cart, but when it comes to the payment, they still redirect you back to a traditional website. Yeah, that's definitely not a seamless user experience, and connecting AMP to traditional web pages is kinda challenging. Sure, using AMP, people can come and would likely to stay longer on your website if it loads quickly, but is it really worth it to navigate around the limitation of the AMP framework, site resting features that are normal in a traditional website? On top of the desktop versions that they need to maintain, there is the AMP version, which is essentially just a stripped-down mobile version that had to be babysitted all the time. Initially, the goal of AMP is to make sure the mobile experience is as great as ever by imposing rules and guidelines dictated by Google that websites are expected to follow, while at the same time maintaining Google dominance as the #1 search engine. But apparently, Google did something dirty in the process. In 2020, Google was accused of anti-competitive behavior by the Justice Department. It states that Google is making ads on AMP loads faster by intentionally slowing down other formats, therefore forcing publishers to adopt AMP if they don't want to lose revenue. However, Google denied this allegation, stating that the claims were not true for publishers that design their web pages for speed. Now, you can make up your mind for that, but there is one thing that is true. Google displays the AMP badge icon to indicate AMP content, meaning that there is a distinction between traditional and AMP websites. Even more striking, for other formats like top stories and news, AMP is pretty much required. So, presumably, to dodge the lawsuit by the Justice Department, in 2021, Google dropped the AMP requirement for pretty much any content format, suggesting that AMP and non-AMP can rank equally. Interestingly, it doesn't take long for big companies to ditch AMP altogether. Names like the Washington Post, Fox Media, BuzzFeed, and Twitter started moving away from AMP and focusing effort on optimizing the mobile experience in a different way. It's almost like they have been waiting this to happen. They just don't want to use AMP, and the only reason they have to use AMP is because Google prefer AMP pages, but that preferential treatment is now gone. The wave is also felt in other companies. Brave browser and DuckDuckGo decided to bypass AMP and redirect users to regular pages. Even a blogging platform like Ghost officially removed AMP support back in 2023. And I've been reading many discussions on Reddit about this particular topic. It looks like that everyone is agreed that AMP is too much hassle for too little reward, especially after Google stopped its first-class treatment for AMP pages. And this Reddit comment sums it all. It was absolute dog. It required the markup to be perfect for it to validate and become indexed. If you are using AMP, you are going to receive some sort of error messages every week telling you that something went wrong with your AMP pages, even though you haven't done anything. Sometimes the error goes away, sometimes it sticks. It is difficult to get it right, and AMP demands absolute perfection. Around the same time, web technologies are getting better. Achieving sub-1 second load time is no longer feels like climbing a mountain, it is more like walking in the park. Website platforms like WordPress, Ghost, and Wix are now faster than ever, even without dealing with settings and optimizations. In just a few years, fast web hostings are becoming a standard. Website is now automatically adapting to the screen size, and there are plenty of cheap and free tools to compress website content to make it load just as fast as AMP without introducing development overhead. In retrospect, AMP feels like adding a rocket to an old car. Sure, it makes it run faster, but with extra complexity that might not bode well with the car. Also, it is not like we couldn't just upgrade the engine, change the tire, or mold the body to be more aerodynamic. Essentially, AMP was trying to solve a problem by adding two more problems. So, is AMP dead in 2025? Well, it's been almost 10 years and AMP is still being supported. It is no longer Google's favorite, but they are still maintaining the infrastructure behind it. The official AMP plugin in WordPress, for example, is still getting 2000 plus installs every day, meaning that there is still a demand for AMP. And some websites are still actively utilizing it, so I don't see any indication that Google may drop AMP completely. But the writing may be on the wall. The official AMP YouTube channel hasn't uploaded a video for more than 3 years now. The same is also true for its official website. Even worse, the success stories section still features the Washington Post, even though we know that the site has ditched AMP completely. What's interesting is these success stories are based on the data from 2016 to 2018, and there have been a lot of things changed in the internet landscape ever since, so its relevancy is questionable. And what's not surprising is many brands that switch back to traditional web pages see no change in traffic or revenue. In fact, many reported positive results after they stopped using AMP. For example, a recipe site from Germany, Chefco, has shut down over 600,000 AMP URLs and experienced a 30% increase in website traffic. In another example, search engine land doesn't see any negative impact after ditching AMP. In fact, they gain better control over their website data and engagement metrics. And thus, there is almost no reason to keep AMP around. At least that's what I can conclude from my research. But what do you guys think about AMP? Do you still use it or have stopped using it at some point? Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.